Hello guys, this is Zarapunky over here, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I think about God of War. So far, let's just um, start with the actual, without spoilers. I'll be talking about a little bit of the story without spoilers. I'll be talking about a little bit of comparisons with other games and how exactly is it changing myself as a gamer, because this game is hell of a challenge. Anyways, let's just start with yeah the little bit of the story. So it's all based around Norse mythology. That is where Odin and Thor and all these gods are in. um Although they're not as it seemed like it we've seen in Marvel and other type of other games or other uh, comics, that we see these kind of gods as the actual heroes. Now, that is all that I'm going to say about the actual story. I mean, the story is more around the father and son. Now, this is not a uh, dad simulator or dad disappointment simulator, just like the memes that are around. I mean, it's Kratos and its son Atreus. Um, this is around father and son being more knowing each other through this journey. Now, there is there's more to it. There is more depth between them two. They have they have a lot of difference. Um, I mean, Kratos. We've all seen like Kratos is this really angry god character that is just he uses his anger wisely sometimes, but he actually uses in this game he actually uses it as for winning battles and all that. But still, it is uh, a downside from Kratos as its character, because he is trying to at least teaching his son Atreus how to use his anger for the good. Um, but it's very difficult for both of them. Although this the bond between them two is really good. I have to say that it's something that I've you might have seen it before in films and other such as other media, but this is this is a hero. I mean, not a hero. This is a god that we've been seeing like killing other gods, and being as a father, it's like it's something very weird. As for me, I have never played a God of War game. I play a little bit of PlayStation 2 games here and there, but I never got into it. And I love hack and slash. That's my main game platform. That's my favorite. Um, but going back to the Kratos and son, their chemistry is so good. I mean, this is one of the best father and son, uh, as well as media and video game. Story wise, it's just it matches so good because it's we see Kratos flawed, we see his son that it's making mistakes, as kids be kids, uh, and it's just so well written. As for that, the written in the story, the script is well written. I can't stop repeating myself because this is one of the games that um, people people today are not uh, they're very skeptical. Let's just say they're very skeptical with script games, such as linear games. Let's just say that the new Tomb Raider, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, is going to be very scripted. It's going to be a little bit linear, but who knows? I mean, maybe it made some changes. Maybe the maps are gonna be bigger. Maybe the the environment is gonna be a lot more of exploration because Tomb Raider has been a lot more exploration. Why do I bring Tomb Raider? Because you know it's God of War has elements from it. Um, it's not because of the script. It's because of this is how you make a really good linear game. Because God of War is not just a linear game. You can actually explore. There's places to go to do side quests. Uh, right now, I haven't even finished the game, even though I'm far. I've been doing a lot of side quests instead of the story because the side quests are also so good and they just really uh, get integrated in the story, such as the main thing. I mean, there's something that you learn from the side quests that are according to the story, and it never feels off. That's what I mean. So, uh, what else? So it is linear, but at the same time, is extremely open to explore. Uh, you will never get tired of the exploration. The exploration is just top notch. It never gets tired. Um, in terms of um, the dialogue and the actual characters, uh, this is one of the games that you will get into these characters. There's no characters that you will feel like, man, this character's so off. I hate this character. But if you're gonna hate a character, it it actually it's meant for you to hate it. This is not a hate cliche. This game is more of a big deal for uh, for a character to be developed in a way that you will expect or will not expect. And I'll explain that. Is because they're not exactly predictable, as cliche as characters that are really bland and useless, and but that's what I thought about Atreus, Kratos' son. So I thought that he was gonna be useless in the game, that he was just gonna be a really dumb AI, but I was wrong. I was very skeptical, a little bit skeptical about this game before it came out. Um, a lot of people will say that I'm a Sony, Sony pony, but I'm a Sony fan. But I also have the Xbox One, the Wii U, the Switch. I have every console here, and even a really hardcore PC. So going back on Atreus and Kratos, as script wise, this game is top notch. It's not gonna feel like, man, this line was really off. It just even the how is it called, the snake, the world serpent, even the world serpent. Uh, they talk in a weird way because it's another language, it's another world, and that's what I like about these mythologies, because they integrate, even though Kratos was back in Greek mythology, but now he's in Norse mythology and he's learning from it too. Such as Atreus. Atreus is that kind of translator, because Kratos, for some reason, he can't read those kinds of words and all that. But yeah, it's very fun to just see these characters talk to each other, fight, um, because it's not all they have their differences, as I said before. They confront each other and they just grow up between their fights and between their teamwork. There's a lot of teamwork in with his father and son thing. So, as Atreus being useless in the game, no, he's not useless in the game. He's actually very useful. So, in terms of fighting mechanics, as you use Atreus, is very, very crucial. This is very unique as they did this character, because I am happy that he is not an AI. I am happy that this is not the actual computer simulating a kid that it will be glitchy in the game. No, that you actually use him in a certain way that it is part of your combos. You have to use him wisely. Although there is Atreus has also upgrades such as Kratos. Um, the upgrades are kind of a bit of confusing. I have to say that is a downside of the game, but you can get used to it. I mean, it's not that as messed up as in the beginning, but I still get confused a little bit because there's upgrades for their clothing. There's different clothing because the clothing gives you a little bit of stamina, power, skill, not skills, life, health, and all that kind of stuff. And as for the skills, there's a lot of skills here. Atreus, before I can get to Kratos, Atreus is one of those. I don't want to say sidekick, but he's more like a sidekick to for Kratos in this part. But he has a lot of upgrades. This is not a just a 3 or 2 upgrades and yeah, that's it. You just Atreus is now done with his upgrades. No, he actually evolves as a fighter. He also evolves as as being really a good son. I mean, he's learning from his mistakes. And while he sees you fighting, I mean, he actually evolves as a really good how should I say arrow shooter. Maybe he actually uses his arrows more to actually help you to get advantage to the actual enemy instead of just shooting and all that. Atreus has a really good abilities, and I give props to the director or the makers of this game, Santa Monica Studio. Thank you for not making a cliche AI of Atreus. So let's go to Kratos as in combat. Sorry about that. Hit my mic. So Kratos in his as I told you before, I have never played not never I haven't played fully the past God of War games. But as Kratos evolved in this game, he is vulnerable, but at the same time he is still as strong as before. Though yes, he is old and a little bit slow, but at the same time you can actually feel his power. I'm being more of a Dragon Ball fan right here, but he actually has this unique power level that it's just incomprehensible. Just because he does not use his axe only. He uses his shield. He uses his broad hands. You actually use every single button from the PlayStation controller. There is no single PlayStation button that it will miss out in this game. And I will explain to you why is this, because the combinations, how you actually fight in this game, this is more than just a hack and slash game. As I told you, the story is part of the actual combat too. Kratos in its prime, I think this is Kratos in his prime, more to his last days of prime, because he is still powerful. He ain't a weakling. Although there's other gods that manage to at least, kick his ass. And I'm telling you, this game is challenging. I'm not gonna say this is like a Dark Souls or anything like it. I mean, I have to make a confession. I have never played a Dark Souls game, but I have played very difficult games. But I've seen on the comments also that people have been saying that this is even harder than Dark Souls. That if you actually playing hard. Maybe in normal that will be a little bit exaggerating, but you will experience something that no other game can do. I mean, you actually use every single button, even the D-pad. The axe is not the only thing that you actually use. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys because even the weapons that actually are part of the story and part of the actual events that's happening to father and son. So, um, he has this rage mode, right? You press R3 and L3 at the same time, and even though you're that powerful, you're still limited. I mean, if you use a lot of the smashing part of it using the R2, if you have played the game, you might know what I'm saying. Uh, it will waste it will completely drain that bar to the very end if you use it like at least 5 times or 6 times or whatever. I think it's less than that, but in terms of power wise, I mean, Kratos is still Kratos. Um, in terms of the camera angle, let's talk about the camera angle, and I think they did this because the game needed to evolve, and also the less you see on screen, the more the challenge is. Now people are very annoyed because of the camera angle, because of the third person view, very close, and because Kratos' back is very very big. I mean, I'm not gonna be very non-skeptical about it. I mean, it is a challenge, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying. But for me, I can see it as a challenge. I can see that there's blind spots, even though you're this powerful dude, but you actually have a blind spot because the game itself obligates you to turn around and do frontal attacks. Because for you to do back or back attacks or whatever you call it, there's a D button. You have to press the D-pad, down D-pad to dash, not dash back, to just like look back very quickly. So in that aspect, I can guarantee you that I don't use it that much, just because I'm a different type of gamer. I like to be a little bit of a masochist, um, but at the same time, I can be a little bit reckless in that term. So let's jump into how is this game actually changing me in, like, uh, as gameplay wise, as a combat hack and slash gamer like I am. I have played Bayonetta, I have played Devil May Cry. Not all of them, but I have played Devil May Cry. I have played. I'm not gonna say hack and slash as beat 'em up. I have played tons, such as the Muso games. Uh, Man, I can't even remember. One Chambara. Um, what else? What else? Anyways, I think maybe Hellblade is kind of like it. I mean, I'll talk about Hellblade once I jump into the puzzle parts. So, how is this actually changing me as a gamer? The challenge that this game delivers is unique, as I told you, is challenging. So, I'm 26 years old, and sometimes I do stupid ass stuff in battle. And sometimes I just say like, man, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that in time? Because even though Kratos is a little bit tiny slower than the previous game, even though I haven't played, I mean, just don't remember how the gameplay or the playability back in the days was, but when Kratos was in his actual potential. But you could actually feel that he's a little bit slow. I mean, by his power, age, and as the gameplay wise and etc. You know what I mean. So, this game, I mean, it has challenged me. I have like freaking died more than 10 times in one. I think it was one ogre or one troll. I think one of the trolls. Yeah. because ogres are really easy to beat. Not easy. They're a bit challenging when they're just two ogres, and I think they call ogres. I don't remember. But they're just these big monsters that just brawl, and you just have to dodge a lot. As dodging a lot, this game is specifically you can block, counter, and use it as your advantage. But if you don't use it at the right time, you're doomed. There's some enemies that just by one single hit, you're dead. That's it. You're dead. You are freaking dead. Yes, you have to start not all over as in the saving point. Like at least they're very fair with the game. You don't start all over so from the saving point that you actually save the game. There's actually an auto save in the game, which actually helps you not rage too much. Because yeah, the game itself is very challenging. So as for me as a gamer, it is changing me as in a way of I need to have more reflexes. I need to have more skill wise, as in finger, arm. I mean, I need to be very mentally prepared for any battle in this game. Yes. Believe it or not, I mean, if you have not played this game, I fully recommend you to at least buy it. I mean, I'll talk about this later about run and done games, but challenge is a challenge, and there is no other game that will deliver this much, such as graphics, script wise, story wise, gameplay, battles, boss battles, chemistry, character development, such as that. It's just so hard to do it in a game. I have played Horizon Zero Dawn. I have played Breath of the Wild, and man, I can say that I know I've been a Breath of the Wild and a Horizon Zero Dawn fan for last year, but this year I have never played such a game, and I have never played such a game that I will play for hours and hours. Like, you will get exhausted. But you will never be bored. You will never be tired of, oh man, I'm tired of this. This is very repetitive. Enemies are different. Combat, you can choose whatever. The combat is such a variety. The combos is different. There's different ways to fight. I don't know why people say it's repetitive. It's not. If you actually button smash or repeat a freaking button, you literally die. You can't do that. You cannot spam. Literally, if you spam, you're literally a bad gamer. You are literally not for this game. Because it's so challenging that you need to use like every single button in this game, such as Atreus itself. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this game delivers its genre. It is faithful to what it is. I will not pretend this game is it's just a run and done game. It delivers what it actually is. So, in comparison to other games, I would say that this game looks a little bit like, I have to say, like a little bit like Uncharted. Let's say Uncharted 4, Tomb Raider, Hellblade, and a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn, such as photorealistic, such as climbing mountains, such as combat, story. I don't see comparison. Now I would say that in Hellblade And as for puzzles, I mean, the puzzles here in God of War, wow. I'm not gonna say that they're very challenging, but you need to think. You need to think. This is not an easy puzzle. This is more like, okay, I need to think. I need to use my axe very well because it is what it is. I mean, I think that's the only thing I have to say about the puzzles. They're really fun. Sometimes you just have to think. There's sometimes that you'll be like at least 15 minutes like figuring out the puzzle itself, but they're challenging. Some of them are challenging that you need to be very fast. You need to be very fast to actually unlock something. What else? What else about this game? Wow. I think I have said enough, but at the same time, I think that since I haven't finished the game, because this is off the cuffs right now, this is what I think about the game. I have already 2 weapons. Besides the axe, I have another weapon. I won't say it because I think it's gonna be a little bit of a spoiler because it is according to the story. But yeah, there's more to it, and just people have been skeptical also because of the axe, because it's just the axe and then that's it, and the punches, and no, I mean there's something else. I mean it's let's see, character development that is check. Now, will this be a really good candidate for Game of the Year? People been very debatable. Let's say like very debatable for the Game of the Year, because the Game of the Year could be because I know Spider-Man is gonna be a contender. Red Dead Redemption is gonna be a contender. What else? What else is coming this year? Besides shooter games, Detroit Become Human could not be, but it could be in a category, but not as a Game of the Year thing. Nintendo Labo, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Anyways, so as for Game of the Year, I mean, wow. For now, I mean, as far as I know this game, as I'm playing this game is top notch. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 with flaws, and I'll explain why 10 out of 10 with flaws, because there is no game that is so perfect. You know, there's gonna be something that even the mechanics itself, it's flawed from the game. I mean, it's not a bug, it's not anything like that. It's something that they could make it easier that way instead of that, how they made it. Or because opinions cannot be, the thing that is wrong with the game. Because people, I mean, gamers like, gamers like something, but sometimes they don't, because they think differently from the game, pretending to be like that other game. No, you cannot do that, because this game is alone this game. You cannot compare other flaws with other games with this game, or pretend that this game needs to have that thing when it doesn't, when it does not have it. I don't know if you're following me, because games deliver its own way, its own world of gaming. That is my way of seeing video games, of seeing books, seeing films, seeing a series, anime, etc. Because I cannot pretend something that it's not. That is what it is. I mean, yes, they can improve some stuff, out of my opinion, because those based on facts that the game has some flaws, yes, but based on my opinions of the things wrong with it that I don't like, does not make the game bad in that aspect, you know. So um, going back to the game of the year, uh, it deserved to be game of the year. Last year, I was rooting for Horizon Zero Dawn and rooting for Breath of the Wild since I played them both, and I think um, I forgot the contenders from that. I know there were like two Sonys, there was PUBG in it. Oh god, I did not want it to see anything like the 2016 Game of the Year, because that was totally unfair. But not going there again. Games deserve to be more respected as single player games. Last year, single player games won the battle, even though there was a lot of backlashing, there was a lot of negativity for the single player experience, such as EA trying to force uh, us as microtransaction and multiplayer wise, such as Phil Spencer, Uncle Phil being uh, very blind to single player games. So there is not lost hope for single player games. Single player games is still having an impact, and God of War is one of them, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, uh, Breath of the Wild, uh, and other games. I can't even think of other games because right now there's a lot of things in my head right now that I really need to tell you guys about what else about this game. So there is, yes, it has to be, for me, it has to be Game of the Year because it delivered its genre. It's delivered what it is. It is not like lacking of its own thing, of its own hack and slash, of its lacking of its own story, because it delivers what the script was written in a very beginning. What actually Corey from the director of God of War actually wanted this game to be. And I'm very happy that this game exists today. I'm happy that Sony is actually investing money in all these single player games that are really expensive, because single player games are very expensive, people. And supporting these kinds of games, run and done games. I don't actually think it's just a run and done games, because you actually, once you finish the game, you can do the side quest, and maybe there's an expansion sometimes this year or next year. Who knows? Such as let's just go back to Final Fantasy 15. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to fight for. There's more to it in that open world, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, such as Breath of the Wild. You guys get what I mean? This is not just run and done games. Games are bigger now. Single player games today are not just a linear type of game. I don't think Last of Us is gonna be another linear game just like the first one. I don't think of it that way. I know there's gonna be more of an exploration and all that, but even Days Gone, like we can see how open worlds today can be, how open world can be, such as the Spider-Man. The open world can actually be like a long ass experience. We can say that, yeah, multiplayer, I can play them like they never end. But if you see from a perspective of, man, I do everything like something like let me get my head straight right here. You do the same thing over and over. PUBG, such as Fortnite, such in Overwatch, such in Call of Duty. You go in a match, you kill a dude, you gain more kills, you die, or etc. You get to another match, repeat and repeat and repeat. All those people who have been saying that single players are repetitive, you do the same thing repetitive in the multiplayer, in that multiplayer aspect, the multiplayer games, such as that, such as simple as just thinking, wow, yeah, that is correct. Yes, I am actually doing the same thing over and over. I'm pressing the same button in shooters: aim, knife, jump, walk on walls, reload. Same all over again. Now, the difference from a linear, or let's just say open world game, they are more challenging. Yes, I know the challenge online is different from an AI, but I can guarantee you that if you haven't played this game, or any Dark Souls game, or any really hard game, if you want a challenge, if you want to stay out of the of the online games, I'm not gonna say that online games are dying. No, they're not. They're never gonna die. I mean, myself, I love multiplayer games. I love playing with my friends. But playing, in a single player game alone, like, it's your own experience. It's how you play the game. This is how it has been. It's like, back in the day, you used to play single player games, such in shooters. You used to play a lot of campaign with Call of Duty. You used to do a campaign in Halo, even though Halo had a multiplayer campaign. But it isn't it a lot of fun if you play, by yourself. Your experience, that it is what it is, guys. I mean, multiplayer games and single player games. So I thank God that we have both. Because even though single player games could be like, okay, I'm done with the game, now I go to another one. But if I'm going to end up ending all these single player games, what it is for me to just play a lot of single player games, but I don't have multiplayer games. Each one of them just complement themselves. And I get you guys that you beat the game and you beat it again, then it's just there, and that's it. But single player games are changing, and if you're very skeptical of single player games being redundant and run and done, think again. There's side quests. There's an open world you can explore. There's more challenges. There's character development there. There's actually that you could learn from it. Because learn from a video game is the most satisfying thing in this whole freaking planet. I've been saying this for a long time. Video games, movies, let's just say films, they're not the only ones that could bring a really good story. Do you hear me well? They're not the only one, guys. Video games could bring that, and even better. Because a movie could be 2 hours long, when a game could be at least 20 hours, 40 hours. As long as you could take, as long as you want to take on a video game, such as I'm doing right now with the God of War. Now, yes, I think I'm done, but I think I needed to get this out of my chest. thoughts that I have of this game, things that I really love about this game, the things I'm a little bit not of a like of this game, but I truly 10 out of 10 for this game. It deserves the ratings of the critics. I don't think Sony is actually paying these people who that actually are telling us that it's the 10 out of 10 almost perfect game. No, it's not. They're not actually. It's just, guys, experience the greatness. I mean, you will never get a really good experience of God of War like for a long time. I don't know when Horizon Zero Dawn, the second game, will be out. The other God of War game that will be out, I don't know. This will be the chance of your lifetime. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say like, oh man, like, there's no other games to play. No, there's a lot of games to play. It's just, I'm really, and I'm playing Persona 5 at the same time I'm playing this one, but I haven't played in such a long time a game that I just like play for so many hours. It's been a long time. And for a game that does that to me, as a gamer myself, a gamer that likes hack and slash, like a gamer that likes fighting games, combat, that is much to say. I mean, I love RPGs. I love JRPGs. I love puzzle games too. I love racing games too. But a game like God of War, you will never get something like that for a long time. It's just once in a lifetime thing. Even though there's other games that you actually can experience some similarities from God of War. Alright people, this has been one of the podcasts that I've been alone. My friends are pretty busy right now, so they cannot join me. So thank you for listening. If you actually listen for a long time, me gagging and me not gagging, taltadeando, if you can say that in English. I don't know how to say it in English. Anyways, alright guys, this has been Zarapunky, and I hope you actually have fun with video games, have fun with single player games as a whole. Alright people, please don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. This has been Zarapunky and friends being very busy, but yeah, they're still my friends, and I'll see you guys later.